Today we have this kind of agenda. We are planning to look at your soul history. After that, maybe there's going to be some kind of questions regarding that story. Later on, we are going to move to the pictures. And after that, if there's going to be any more additional questions, we will be able to explore those. Is there anything you would like to say before we begin? We are going to begin by performing concentration exercise for 5 seconds, by which we are going to concentrate on the inside and create intention that we are willing to open your soul records, and you are going to confirm that intention by making a statement: please open my soul records. We are looking at your soul history. Soul is from this universe. Soul is from another galaxy, not our Milky Way galaxy. It appears that soul has been evolving from elemental kingdom. Soul has been evolving on the planet, which was more or less mostly based on crystals. It appears the whole, or at least most of the planet, has been mainly crystals. There have been in that planet like crystal mountains. The planet there doesn't seem to be a lot other elementals like water or apparently even air. Mostly it's earth element in the form of crystalline shape. It appears that this planet has been in this state for many millions of years, maybe even billions. It was like very static. Nothing was changing. It appears it was created by some advanced beings, apparently even a few billion years ago, and it was in that state ever since. And not much has been changing, and your soul was part of the collective consciousness of that planet, and it appears there were no separation in that planet. Everything was one spirit of that crystalline structure. And later, much later, in the year around somewhat 5 million years ago from our time, some beings have came to that planet and they took it apart, something like they sliced those crystals into parts, and they moved those crystals all over the universe, because those crystals have had in themselves some kind of high vibrational frequency, which when placed in the planet, which needs to be assisted in its evolution, they could integrate into the collective consciousness of that planet and assist the whole planet and its inhabitants in their evolution. So this way your individual soul has been created by slicing part from the crystal, and it was moved to our galaxy, to our Milky Way galaxy. It appears it was moved to Taurus constellation, to Pleiades star system, and it was placed near the Alcyone star on a planet where the idea was to assist the future civilizations which are going to be inhabiting in there. So your soul integrated into that planet and was simply being there, and by being there, apparently mostly it was waiting for some inhabitants because there were none at that time. But later some humans have came to inhabit the Pleiades, and those human beings have inhabited that particular planet, and your soul have incarnated into Pleadian humans and began its evolution there. So it was something like co-creation. You were assisting them, but at the same time they were assisting you, because in reality you were unsure what you are dealing with in there. So you were living with those Pleadian humans, and apparently everything was going pretty fine. But then there have been certain unsettling events. A war have broke out, and it have touched that civilization. They have experienced some damage because of that. All that have traumatized the whole civilization, and new and unexplored ideas have arisen in your soul's consciousness, which was to explore and to understand something that we would refer as evil, meaning someone who does the opposite of creating life, meaning the opposite of live is backwards evil, literally. So this idea have inspired you to explore this subject, and you wanted to go somewhere or likely someplace where you could explore the subject without interruptions. You have been looking for this place for a long time. You have been quite unsure where to find the correct place. You have been traveling around Orion constellation, few other places, but nothing seemed to satisfy your soul completely. And around 50,000 years ago, you have discovered this planet that we refer as Earth, and you knew that this planet is going to be quarantined in the future, meaning it's going to be closed down from communicating with the rest of the galaxy. And it gave you the idea that it is going to be a good opportunity to get into close approximation within the evil, and because of these quarantined circumstances, you are kind of going to be forced to face the evil, and therefore, by not being able to run away from it, you will be able to explore it without interruptions. This idea was not the best idea, but at that time, at that moment, it seemed like the most appropriate idea. Therefore, 50,000 years ago, you came to planet Earth, incarnated into civilization known as Atlantis, into the Atlantic Ocean, and began your preparations for the inevitable facing of evil, and you spend most of your time just trying to adjust to the human life and to understand how human psyche works. But of course, nothing could prepare you for what was ahead, because you still were able to remember your past lives, your purpose, and so on. But around 13,000 years ago, the Atlantis have sunk down, the planet has been quarantined, and after that, no more memories and no more orientation, why you are here and what you are doing here. It appears you have overestimated a bit your abilities on how you were planning to cope with the situation. It appears that after you lost your soul history, it have traumatized you more than you could have imagined. And that drove you to certain unbalanced states by which you were, let's just put it this way, scraping by. So in those times, what we are calling the Stone Age, the life was very difficult for you. You have been damaged a lot by those times, a lot of deaths and all sorts of traumas, mostly because of simple lack of observational abilities in the situations you have been at. But life after life, somehow you coped by. It appears a lot of lives have been lived in the Americas, meaning South and North America. A lot of lives in the Indian Native American communities. To the Europe, it appears you are moving only around the year 1500 in our times. It appears that the move was because Europeans have came to that continent and they have inspired you to explore new lands. Therefore you moved to the Europe. It appears that mostly it have been lives in the South Europe, Spain, Italy, Portugal. After moving from the Indians, in which you were mostly more like a tribesperson, hunters, gatherers kind of mentality. In Europe you began to explore different lifestyles. You discovered arts, pottery, something like a mixture of both, I guess, like making ceramic pots and infusing them with all sorts of arts, artistic expression that have helped you to rediscover your spiritual side, because you began to learn how to move your inner pictures which you had inside to the outside, to put it on the pots in the form of art, and that helped you to rediscover yourself. It appears that art has been assisting you a lot during those lives. It has been very therapeutic for you. You have concentrated a lot on the art therapy. It appears that you even moved to the art therapy and created something like art therapy school, in which you were helping people who had traumatic experiences, were helping to heal themselves through performing art, like painting or making something. It appears it was alive in somewhat in Italy in somewhat 1860s. Looked like it was your last life, your past life, and in this life you want to proceed that exploration. You want to discover new parts of your soul which you have lost during your past lives, and you want to explore more, deeper and broader. So in this life you are discovering the spiritual side, not only artistic but also like new age spiritual, by which you are exploring different topics. And it's very important for you because this way you are rediscovering yourself, and by that you are healing yourself by gathering the parts of yourself which you have lost during the past lives. So now, in this life, you want to gather yourself, you want to remember yourself, you want to rediscover yourself, and your soul family, which is from the Pleiades, are very willing to make a contact with you. They have a message for you stating that they have never forgot about you. They were always watching over you, and even though you felt that you have been lost, it was only your psychic impression about that. They have always watched over you and are trying to assist you through the feeling in your heart when you felt in your heart that something is alright to do. It was your soul family talking to you. So in this life, we are planning to make a contact with you in the coming years, but we are not rushing things because you still need to accept certain ideas about who in fact you really are, and after you will acclimatize yourself to those ideas, it's going to be easier for them to communicate with you, and you are going to reunite, and you will gonna be given a choice that in this lifetime you will be able to leave this planet with your body, your physical body, and move to Pleiades. Either you can finish your life here, put your physical body to rest, and then move only with your soul. It's going to be up to you. Nobody is going to force you on that decision. Despite that, this life is last for you on this planet. You are moving next to the Pleiades, and in there you're going to move through certain process which is going to be called acclimatization process from the Earth to the Pleiades. You're going to accustom yourself in there, and after that you are going to become someone which is called experience relating individual, meaning that because you have went through certain traumatic experiences and yet you have learned how to deal with them and heal even them, you are going to help other individuals who also went through certain traumatic experiences. You are going to relate to them based on your traumatic experiences, and because of that relation you will be able to, by empathic understanding, to help them to go through their traumatic experiences, help them to integrate it into their psyche, and based on that, heal them. That's going to be your job for a couple of next 1,000 years in the Pleiades. After that, you're going to change your profile, move to more of the creational work, to start to create something. Apparently you're going to learn how to create physical matter, maybe even planets in the future. That's all up to you, but that's a bit in the future, and mostly it's all we had to say at this moment. Have any kind of questions arisen from this story? Pleiades is a star system in the Taurus constellation. Yes, what is there a question about it, or is just a statement? Yes, we can confirm you are being watched over by your star family from the Pleiades. So you had some pictures you wanted to explore? Yes, there is a lot of pictures, but apparently there is only one entity besides you. There is only one entity which you want to inquire about. Is that correct? So, what is your relation to this entity? Let's try to rephrase a little bit your statement about the relationship. Can you put in a few words how are you relating to this person? Okay, so it's a kind of a romantic relationship, but it's simple. So now this entity is actually someone with whom you had a past life. This soul have been you have been from different families which have been intermarried, and he was your brother, not a true brother, but brother by law, and you began to relate to this person, and by that relation you kind of began to be interested in him, but nothing could have been happening between you. So it was kind of hanging in the air, to put it metaphorically, and nothing was happening. And that life was finished like that. It appears it was a life in Italy. So you always wanted to try to explore that relationship in some kind of different circumstances, and well, this life you have been given opportunity to do that, but mostly this energy which you are regarding as relationship energy is coming from the past life, and it's unresolved energy by which you wanted that relationship, but mostly because it was forbidden by law. And now you are exploring that energy, but by exploring it, you are discovering that there was not that much there. Discovering that it was more like childish dish because it was forbidden and it was not all that important. And now you are discovering that energy, and it might give you confusion, and that's something you need to go through. And by going through it, you are growing in that energy, and you are, by interacting with this person, you are using this entity as a mirror to reflect your energies from him upon yourself, and to see who you actually are instead of who you would like yourself to see. So this entity is helping you in exploring yourself, but the energies are moving in different directions, and after a certain amount of time, the energies, the way they are moving now, they are going to be discharged, and after that you will see that unless you will discover something new in this relationship, they will begin to feel somewhat unfulfilling and empty. That most likely is going to be end of the relationship. Is there anything else you would like to explore? So we would like to add a few more things, some additional information. During this conversation, we have opened your soul records. Based on that, now you have experienced unusual thoughts, ideas, feelings, experiences. Because of that, 1 or 2 weeks are going to be a little bit more unusual than usual. So there's going to be more of those strange feelings. So you are encouraged to explore them more deeply. And if, for example, you are practicing some kind of meditation or something similar, you can go into your practice and remember this conversation, remember the thoughts, feelings, experiences which have you experienced, and explore through that meditation or practice more deeply those energies. For example, if you are a nighttime dreamer, meaning you have dreams during your sleep cycle, you can explore those energies more deeply during the sleeps. If you will go to sleep and before falling asleep you will remember this conversation and those energies, and you will fall asleep with those thoughts, then during the sleep cycle you will continue to explore those energies in your astral or mental bodies, and in the morning you will remember those explorations as your dreams. You can proceed with exploration. But because of human nature, we tend to forget things. So in a couple of weeks, those energies are going to subside and they are not going to be so active. So therefore, we made a record of this conversation from our side, and in around 1 month, we're going to put this record on our YouTube channel, and you will be able to re-listen this conversation and remember all what was talked about in here, and to re-experience those energies if you will be willing to re-experience them again. So, is there any more questions or statements you would like to make before we close? So, in that case, we are very grateful for you, for your time, that you gave us the opportunity to help you, and we are hoping that we were able to assist you in any way. And if that was the case, in our website, under the agreement that you agreed before the conversation, there are abilities how you are able to state your any kind of expression, how you would like to express your gratitude. If there's nothing more you would like to state, then we are just wishing you all the best, and that is the end of our communication for this time.